Have you ever said yes when your body was screaming no? Felt numb, ashamed, or frustrated with your pleasure? You're not broken. You've just been disconnected from your erotic sovereignty. The Erotic Rose Path is a 6-week live journey to reclaim your pleasure as your spiritual path. Every Wednesday night at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we gather in sisterhood for 75 minutes of guided practices, rituals, and pleasure assignments that awaken your radiance and magnetic power. Here, your sensuality isn't something to hide. It becomes the source of your power, your prayer, and your purpose. We begin September 24th. Make sure to use the code ROSE at checkout for $44 off at roseheartsong.com. It's time to reclaim your body, your voice, and your erotic power. Say yes now at roseheartsong.com. Welcome to Follow Your Heartsong, where we reclaim pleasure, break taboos, and awaken to our deepest desires. I'm Rose Heartsong, bringing you raw, unapologetic conversations on sex, spirit, and self-liberation. Let's dive in. This is Rose Heartsong with Follow Your Heartsong, and we are live on KXFM, Laguna Community Radio. And you're listening to a show in which we talk about sexuality, spirituality, holistic health, and anything taboo. And lately I've been talking a lot about one of my missions here is to bring God back into the bedroom, or spirit back into the bedroom, and bringing the body and making it a sacred vessel and making it our temple, because really we were gifted this amazing vessel called a body, which is a magical being. And I don't think that the majority of human beings are in so much devotion to our bodies as much as we could be. And so there is a technology or a technique that I've been doing since 2014 that's helped me have a really deep, intimate, close relationship with my body and my nervous system and my energy and my frequency and everything that I do in my life as an energetic being, which is called network chiropractic or network spinal analysis. And so I have our guest today, who is a network chiropractor, and his name is Koichi Naruishi. I got it. That was a hard one for me. He's a doctor of chiropractic and network spinal analysis. And we just had an amazing session right before the show. And I feel so lit up. We've been having so much fun in the radio station before we started. We've just been laughing. Would you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and how long you've been doing network chiropractic?
Okay. I've been doing network chiropractic for about 25 years plus. I started up in Berkeley, and I had a practice for about 15 years there. And then because of things happening in the family, we moved back down to San Diego. And so we're now in San Diego. I've been here for about 10 years. A little bit more about myself, in particular with network, it brought me back to remembrance of something that I forgot when I was a kid. And it was this kind of alive energy feeling, like this buzzing aliveness. And it brought me back to that, something I shunned away for quite some time. I locked it away. And when I had my first network session, which is called an entrainment, when I had my first entrainment, instead of just feeling it in my hands, I felt that buzzy feeling all through my spine. And there was something to that. And that started my journey into becoming even more curious. And 25 years later, I'm still exploring this.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. I love that. So the majority of the population, unfortunately not yet, doesn't know what network chiropractic or network spinal analysis is. First off, you are a doctor of chiropractic, so you went to chiropractic college.
That's right.
And then you had to get out of chiropractic college and go to network spinal analysis school. What would it be called?
Yeah, it was there are different techniques, have different teachings. And so these teachings were taught outside of chiropractic college. At one point, Life Chiropractic College West, where I went to school, actually taught it as a curriculum, as a technique to be learned as a chiropractic student if you wanted to. And so I actually helped a couple friends of mine who were teaching up in San Leandro. I helped them teach the class.
Amazing.
And that was so fun. But yes, I had to take additional courses and certifications to be able to do network spinal analysis officially.
So, though this is an audio program and we can't show them what it looks like, I will say, so as an experience, like to receive the session, basically you lay flat on a table, face down. It's like a chiropractic or massage table, but specific for network chiropractic. And first we sat down, we had a conversation about what was most alive in my experience and my life right now.
That's right.
And so based on that knowledge, then you were able to look at my body in a specific way, and I'll let you explain how you do that in a moment. And basically what I experience is soft touches on specific locations on my spine that unconsciously I was aware there was tension there, but then you can just like almost read it like you're reading my mind or reading my body or my spine, really. That's what you're doing. And you bring awareness to the tension or an energetic, intense place in my body. So a lot of times tension is an energy tightness or stuckness. And then in that, bringing that awareness, then because I've done network chiropractic for so many years, my spine remembered it, was able to move. It's like my body moves without me consciously choosing to do it, but I have to allow it. So I can't, if I tense up and resist it, I think that would be really uncomfortable. So it's a surrender to allowing the spine to make a wave-like sensation in the body. And when that does, I feel energy move in my body in a specific way. And eventually throughout the session, my body kind of unwinds and releases tension. And then I feel when I'm done, more clear, more grounded, less pain, more aware, more attuned to who I am.
Absolutely.
So that's my experience. So what is your experience as a doctor, like that you just had with me? Like, how do you know where all this tension is in the body when you're looking at a spine or a body?
I do several things. I'm laughing because Nala was helping me out and licking me while I was doing these things. And
That's
it was
my dog. You'll know. My little dog was helping assist today.
She's so cute. So just by having a conversation with you, it helps me to listen in a specific way to see what kind of patterns might be available to work with you when you're on the table. And so I look for those places and those patterns with my hands. And so when I do my first pass of my hands from your occiput down to your tailbone, I'm just feeling for where it feels open, where it feels like the energy's bound, as you're talking about. And I'm feeling for how the bones feel. Do the bones feel nice and supple and springy, or do they feel like rigid and like they're fighting something or they're holding on to something? How do the muscles feel? Do they feel like bound, or do they feel like there's a nice tone, or they totally feel flaccid? So I'm looking at all these things, and like also like when I was at your feet, that's another indicator when I feel the tension in your heels. And I look for where the tension might be in your spine and the patterns. And after the first contact, like I made on your neck and your spine made those beautiful movements, I went down and I tested your heels and felt your heels, and they were so loose that I laughed, because I would say if someone's been under network care for so long like you have, their strategies just come online like this, like immediately. And to see a shift in your spine that fast is pretty amazing.
Dear.
I
like to be special. So we talk about a lot of taboo things on this show, especially around the realms of sex and sexuality. And so I have a praise kink. So I like to be praised. So anytime I'm like made special, makes me happy. I don't know if you've ever had a conversation like that before.
I have not, but I think you, without going too far, you are special.
Oh, thank you.
You put in a lot of work into what you're doing, and a lot of awareness, and I would say a lot of like kind awareness to yourself, which is pretty amazing. And when we have our conversations, I don't hear like a lot of self-flagellation happening, which is so refreshing to hear. I see a lot of people, and there's a lot of like subconscious like self-talk that people get from maybe their parents or what society has told them. I don't think maybe they even know their kink of self-praise or like the things that really turn them on and light them up.
Yeah.
And when we get on the table and we sit down and we talk like we did, I like to really find out what really like lights them up, not just go for the pain. Because I think there's a resource there for everybody to tune into. What does it feel like when you see a sunset or you pet a amazing dog?
Like my dog is just sitting on your lap, literally.
Right? And what does that feel like in the space around you? What does that feel like in your body? Like when we stop to just listen into our own experience of how that is felt, then something opens up for us. Then we start the journey of knowing that we're not just this flesh thing and skeleton and pain and all the automatic things that we do. We can pause and go, oh my gosh, there's a wondrous feeling when I reflect on seeing a sunset, petting a dog, being with someone I love, being in nature, whatever that is. The body starts to shift and it has these chemical changes. And these are the innate things that we're connecting with when we do healing work like network and other modalities. We're just really tuning in and tapping into what's like natural and real for us.
I love what you're saying because I'm reflecting back to the conversation we had, and I actually am proud of myself right now because like when you asked what was most alive, the first thing I focused on was what was going well in my life and what was thriving. Oh yeah. And then I was like, and these parts are the parts I'm stuck. And not like what I'm failing at or what's miserable in my life. So I really like that you brought that up. And I think that the majority of our society, especially in the United States, is really programmed on watching the fear of the news and what's going wrong in the world. And we're so programmed in our nervous system right now, especially with what's going on politically and globally and everything. There's a lot of pain in the world that we're seeing on our phones. This is the first time humans have ever had a device inside of our phone where we look at it and we can see the suffering that's happening 24/7 all over the planet. And myself included, I get very attached to my phone and technology. And I think it's frying our nervous systems.
Yeah.
Stressing them out.
Even without the phone, if you just looked at the newspaper or TV or talked to people about current events, it's a lot of it is based on fear. And when it's not based on fear, there's a lot of pressure to appear a certain way, have a certain way of having your home or your car or the way you dress or anything like that. There is a fear that's underlying like a lot of these conversations. It's really painful. And
it's a program.
It's a program.
It's a
societal
program in our nervous system, just like our computers are programmed or our cars are programmed or like technology is programmed. And so whenever I explain network chiropractic to somebody, this is how I explain it, is that our nervous system, it goes from basically the basics are we have a brain and it's connected to our spinal cord. And our spinal cord connects to every single aspect of our bodies. And that's our nervous system. And it's hard. It's a programming computer, basically. It's a computer, and we choose through our habits, through our family, through our society, through our religion, through everything that has outside of us, we get programmed in a specific way. And we can get it from our parents mainly, and then we replay that program. And so with technology and society and everything moving so fast outside of us, I feel like our programs are shutting down. Kind of like when you don't update your iPhone and the apps keep closing because they're crashing because it's not updated. And I feel like we're doing that in our nervous systems right now. And network chiropractic is one of the best ways I've found to upgrade our hardware, our nervous systems to be able to process and receive stress more effectively and to be able to process what's happening outside of us. And so I always say, I need an upgrade, right? Or a reboot. And then I can go on the table and I feel rebooted afterwards.
Absolutely. Like I see a lot of folks come off the table and I hear a lot like, I feel more like myself again. Because we're inundated with information that we become, like our nervous system becomes entrained or programmed or synced up to whatever information's been out there. Even looking at your screen with a blue light and all that kind of stuff that puts us into a fight or flight. And so when we're coming from fight or flight, we're really not ourselves. We're like drained of energy. And when we deprogram ourselves, more of us can come through. The creative, the part that can actually feel and not have to numb, and the parts that can actually start to be more expressive gets to be able to come out.
Yeah. And I'm able to like process stress faster. Like it doesn't impact me so much. It's, oh, there's a problem. What can I do about it?
That was, okay, after we moved to San Diego, I was looking at all the papers and everything from the practice, and I was looking at all the testimonials and some of the surveys, the health surveys, and we looked at physical, emotional, chemical, and different stressors and how people were changing over time under consistent care. And the number one thing that I found out of all the people that I got to serve in the East Bay was that they're able to handle stress a lot better than they were before care. Like their ability to adapt to stressors improved. And the second biggest thing that people got out of care from just the testimonials and also the surveys was that they're able to feel their body more. They're more connected here and less here. Not in the brain, more in the body, more in the heart. And then the third one was like symptomatic changes. If they had physical tightness or pains, that would change. But that was number 3. And coming from a chiropractic background, I was like, that should be number 1. But it was really beautiful to see that was not the number 1 thing, because, people are able to adapt to stress and see what's really in front of them as the way it is, more the way it is, than just where their minds are conditioned to see.
I think if you think back to the body keeps score, and if you let go of stress, then tension goes away. Like stress and being in the head is a huge indicator of what creates tension in the body. That's going to that. It's kind of like a lot of people try to hate themselves into losing weight. It doesn't work. I call that dieting or dying, right? Dieting. It's hating their bodies into losing weight. It doesn't work. People can lose a lot of weight and then they'll gain the weight back after time. And you get to love the body you have now. And then when you love it, it'll be good to you. And then you can take care of it and have that really good relationship. So it's like you're teaching people how to subconsciously connect with their bodies in a different way.
You said something really amazing.
What?
Like to be able to love your body. And I think that is one of the keys to bring that awareness with love in everything we do. And that's like that's where the secret sauce is. And when we can lovingly bring awareness to our body and where the good parts are, like we did in the conversation, and then bring that loving awareness without trying to force something.
Or fix it. I think I do that. I catch myself trying to fix my pain a lot. I'm like, I'm trying to fix this problem. What is it trying to say to me and what needs to be heard?
Yeah.
Versus pushing it away. It's kind of doesn't work.
Yeah. When we're coming from that place where it's not a loving or kind awareness, we are, even if we're trying to do something really cool, SRI, tapping, whatever it is, like if our intent is coming from a place of, I got to get rid of this thing because I hate it, then sometimes we cycle back into the same place.
Yeah.
And we can get so much more like joy and like leverage out of bringing that loving awareness to those places.
Amazing. If you're tuning in right now, you are listening to KXFM. This is Laguna Community Radio, 104.7. And this is Follow Your Heartsong with Rose Heartsong. And we are talking about network spinal analysis or network chiropractic as a form of coming home to yourself. So, yeah, it is a good way to put it. There's different aspects of network chiropractic. I don't want to get like too heady into it, but there is it's a very specific technology, and there's a breathing technology that goes on along with it called SRI. And I know that's something that you're specializing in even more right now. So can you explain what SRI is and how somebody could use it even if they don't come into your office and get a physical session?
Oh, yeah. I have an online client specifically, we're just doing SRI and visualization and coaching. And that's all we use. And it's pretty amazing. She's a creative, does a lot of poetry and does a lot of service work for people who are suffering. And that takes a lot. And she has a huge family, so it takes a lot of energy. And so we're maximizing the use of her energy through using what's called Somato Respiratory Integration. And Donald Epstein, and there's 12 different stages that one can go through, from the stage of suffering, which means not wanting to experience our experience, which is basically numbing out. And to be able to get someone to feel different parts of their body and not alienate it, and just notice what's really there with that loving awareness that we were just talking about, all the way up to the last stage, which is about community and celebrating all the gifts that people bring in our lives, right? So it goes from really like finding where there's leaks in our energy system through breath and movement, into building a foundation where we can actually use that safety or connection to bring even more energy into our system, to be able to make changes in our lives, to step forward where we normally don't step forward, make choices where we don't normally step forward, to have that energy to be able to do that. And then go into the more spiritual aspects of it. And I've had some experiences, out-of-body experience, almost died. And when I got back in my body, there was this immense amount of like quiet stillness and bliss that filled me. And I was like, wow. And there's no thought. And it was so amazing. And I had no context for that experience, that spiritual experience, or quote unquote out of body, however you want to call it. And it was through the 12 stages that gave that experience some sort of context. And I started to journey and search more with meditation and those kind of practices. Hey, that was a thing. That was a thing that I can look for in my current meditations and things that happen throughout like the spiritual journey that I've embarked on a few years ago, maybe 10, I don't know. But the stages give context also to what kind of experience, and gives you a map of where you are.
And when you say stages and we say SRI, it's a type of breath and breathing that brings awareness to the body in different ways, and different like techniques of breath and touch, self-touch, that kind of help reawaken different energy portals or energy centers in the body through each stage, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
That would be a way to say it?
That's a great way to say it.
Okay, great. Amazing. So I got into network chiropractic in 2014 from an ex-boyfriend of mine, and he was obsessed with network chiropractic, obsessed. And basically he told me that if I didn't do network chiropractic with him regularly, he would break up with me. And so I was actually quite resistant to it for a long time because I was required to do it. It wasn't a choice. And I was working with a chiropractor up in LA. He actually has passed away, but he's no longer with us. He was an older gentleman. And then I was seeing him 4 times a week, which is a lot with my ex. We would go there 4 times a week and get sessions. Yeah, for a year. And then I also went to Donnie's event in Colorado. Which one?
Is it the Transformational Gate?
The Gate, yeah.
The 3-day?
Mm-hmm. And that was incredible. That was the first time I tried different doctors and realized there's the different techniques. And then I came back and I was like, hey, I just don't like this doctor. Like, he's not in resonance with me. And that's one thing I've noticed. And when I've tried a lot of different network chiropractors since 2014. It's been 11 years now. That's a long time.
Yeah.
And I realized some just really resonate with me, some doctors, and some I would never go back to them. And it's our frequency matches, which has been interesting. But I also did John Amaril's Body-Centered Leadership Program.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And during that one was interesting because it was a whole retreat, and you go and you get in, I think I was getting in 3 times a day, and then doing classes on network chiropractic and so forth. And I had the coolest experience. I basically went into, first off, if you're listening, when you're getting in trained 3 times a day, it's like peeling back an onion. So there's all these different layers, and you can get to it a lot faster. You can get to energetic frequencies a lot faster. And so it was so cool. I had this experience where I was not asleep, but I wasn't awake. I was in this ethereal place. I feel like it was like 3 hours. It was after one of my sessions, and I felt from the base of my spine all the way up. It took 3 hours to go all the way up to my occipital. My vertebrae were pulsing, and it was like this I felt literally, I was like an iPhone getting an upgrade. Going up, like oscillating. They were like oscillating. They started at the bottom and then they went up. And I remember after that experience, the world was a different place. And I dealt with, I processed stress so differently. It wasn't so overwhelming. And I was raised by a New York Jewish mom who like guilt and fear and worry were her primary program. And she died when I was 23. Oh. And I took 2 years of dedicated grief and healing. And Network was one of the ways I processed that grief. And so I was like, that is a program I don't want to choose any longer. I'm not going to, that ends now. That ends with me and my generation, because she got it from her mom, and her mom probably got it from her mom, and her mom got it from her mom. And who knows how many generations back has, in the Jewish culture, it's very normal to guilt trip people and worry, especially mamas.
Yeah, I think that's a universal mama thing.
It is a universal mama thing, for sure. I was like, no, I'm not going to choose that. It doesn't work. It didn't work for my mom. It didn't work for her mom. There was no value in it. It's draining. And so I feel like that moment was a defining aspect in my life where I could never be the same afterwards. And I wouldn't have been able to probably get there without years of doing it with other practitioners. And it's a journey, but it was a really powerful experience.
That's a huge breakthrough.
Huge.
And do you feel like you're pretty free from that programming?
Sometimes it creeps up into my brain and I catch it. I'm like, hey, how's it going? Good to see you. Let's have a chat. So I'm aware of it. Perfect. The hardest one is, it does come up though. The hardest one is I guilt trip myself for not being a good girl sometimes, for not being perfect, or like fitting into what I believe somebody else thinks I should be as perfection. So I have to let that one go. I actually had a moment with that recently with a friend where it was the inner energy was funny, and then I felt guilty about something, and I was like, why am I feeling guilty right now? I was like, oh, that's my mom's programming. Hello, how's it going? So it's like having that conversation in a relationship.
And how long did it take to just allow it to let that go when you're with your friend?
I think I processed it and like maybe like fully let it out of my nervous system completely, like 4 hours.
4 hours? And how long did it take you to just be able to not have that conversation?
Like 4 hours.
4 hours. So that conversation lasts about 4 hours in your head, and then
I vented for an hour to my other friends about it. And then I was feeling it creeping up, and then I was just like, whatever.
And just let it go.
Yeah, I just let it go.
That's amazing.
It's fast.
Dude, that's
and it's
great.
Not draining.
Yeah.
I'm not drained. That's not mine, that's hers. I'm gonna let it go.
Incredible.
Yeah. So Network Chiropractic helps.
Yeah.
A lot. And I feel so good right now. By the way, I feel so much openness right here in my chest. So I have a spine injury. A lot of people know from 4 herniated discs in my neck. And I've been feeling my chest muscles really condensed and like tight and in. And then like when that happens, then the neck like stresses and then my neck feels bad. And right now I feel like so much openness in my chest and my shoulders from our session today. So thank you.
You're so welcome.
I loved all the joy too that you brought. That was fun, like the happiness. You bring a lot of happiness and joy. You have so much joy radiating out of you.
Thank you. And it doesn't hurt that I really love and enjoy what I do when I do network and work with people like this. So yeah.
It's amazing that you can be doing something for so long and still have so much passion and joy for it. What a blessing.
It is a blessing. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just such a weird way that I found it. I've been under chiropractic care since I was 3 or 4 because of asthma, and I've never experienced anything like network. And when I saw it, I was like, I want to do that. I have no idea what's going on, but I want to do that.
Yeah.
And I followed that thread, and I continue to follow it, and it's been such a great journey.
That's amazing. So another really cool experience I had with a different doctor. I was doing a Tony Robbins. So it was during 2020. It was the first Tony Robbins live on digital program. So usually you have to go there in person, but because of COVID, he bought this huge, massive Zoom room. and turned it into a massive Zoom, and you could do it from home. And so a group of us got together to do Unleash the Power Within, which is like a 3.5-day event. And one thing about Tony is he's really passionate about activating meridians through physical movement. So his events are very physical, and he exhausts people intentionally to break down the conscious mind so that they can get to the unconscious mind. So he's having people jumping, getting up and down, dancing. He has certain people come on to help activate different meridians in movement, but he's doing it subconsciously. I just know because I was a Tony Robbins addict. That's how I got into network chiropractic, because Donnie Epstein and him are really good friends. And we were doing it, and then a network doctor came in, and she was giving us 3 sessions a day. Again, I feel like 3 sessions a day for 3 days straight is like the juiciest, most yummy. Maybe we should do something like that.
I think that'd be a great thing to do.
Yeah, so good. Because those are my biggest breakthroughs. And this one was wild. Are you ready for this?
I'm ready for anything.
It was so wild. Okay, I'm a witch, and I'm very pro woo-woo and all of that. Network chiropractic is more like the alternative mainstream chiropractor, but it looks crazy, especially Donnie's events. They're like, you're like, what is happening right now? It looks very woo-woo. If we went back in time to the witch trials, definitely we've been put in the category for sure. So what I'm about to say is pretty wild, but it happened. And so I think it was like the last day. So like one of my last entrainments. That's an entrainment is having, instead of an adjustment in chiropractic, it's called an entrainment. But yeah, I totally started playing with my energy in a way I had never done before. And I was like shooting love out of my heart. And I was like shooting it outside of my body. And then I was like shooting it. I was like, I wonder how far I can expand this. And so I then started to expand it all over the backyard. And I was in Orange County at the time, in Irvine, actually. And I was like, I wonder if I can do it in the whole neighborhood. And then I expanded it in the whole neighborhood. And I was like in this trance. Like I was not in what we consider a conscious state. I was in a trans other reality, right, in the frequency of 3 days of movement, transformation, and 3 sessions a day or trainments.
Wow.
So then I was like, oh, I wonder if I can do it all over Southern California. And I did.
I only partner with brands I trust, and I'm so excited to team up with Goddess Naturals. Their water-based lube is science-backed, plant-based, and body-safe. Tested for purity, potency, and even heavy metals. No toxins, no petrochemicals, just clean intimacy that you can trust. And for me, with a super sensitive vagina, that matters. Most lubes irritate me, but Goddess Naturals actually nourishes me. Their CBD lube with patented Vasosorb technology delivers benefits faster. Soothing, healing, and enhancing pleasure. Go to goddessnaturals.com and use the code HEARTSONG for 25% off your first order. Now let's get back to that episode.
And then I was like, I wonder if I can do it all over the United States. And then I did. And then I was like, I wonder if I can do it all over the whole planet. And I literally projected my frequency. I know this sounds so crazy, but I swear I did it. And I went around the whole globe 3 times just with light and love. Wow. And then I came back into my body, and I started to channel like these really intense sounds coming out of my body and slapping the ground. And they had to pick me up off the table and put me on the ground. And I was like, I think I was in a trance for a good hour. And I was just like moving energy in my body and hitting the ground and making these sounds. Definitely freaked out some people that had never done that work before that were there. I definitely don't, this is not a normal experience. This is from years and years and years and all the other things I've done. But yeah, that was wild. And I don't really talk about that story, and I've never told it live before.
Congratulations.
I know. Isn't that crazy though?
That is amazing. And I'm used to that after being around Donnie Epstein and that community for such a long time, that things like that seem a little bit more normal to me. In the beginning, it was weird. But
I want to live in a reality in which that is. Okay, so I went around the planet 3 times with my heart, giving love to the earth, the planet.
And this is after getting network sessions or entrainments 3 times a day.
During a Tony Robbins event.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was cool.
That's a lot of transformation happening.
So what is like one of the weirder, wild things that have become normal besides my story?
Like the sounds that people make that come out of their bodies, the movements that come out, and the convulsions sometimes. And then there's when I was practicing in Berkeley, the doors were not soundproof, and there's an old bank in South Berkeley that had these windows above the doors called transoms to allow air to flow through. So those are almost always open to let the heat or the cool air go through. And I was working with someone, and her heart was opening. Her body was coming off the table. Her arms were splayed. Her legs were out. And it was just a wild moment. And she was letting in all these sounds. It sounded like a cross between an exorcism and an orgasm. And there was somebody new waiting in the other room with my front desk person.
Oh, no.
And so I greeted her before, and then I came in and finished up the work with this other person who was on the table. And I went out, and she was gone.
She got freaked out.
She got freaked out. It was too much. It could be really intense sometimes. And so by that time, I was pretty used to all the sounds and noises and some of the things that people would actually move through. And there's a lot of energy that can actually move through somebody. And it's akin to like Kundalini energy that rises from the base of the spine all the way up. And on the way up, sometimes it'll hit some resistance, and all the stuff that needs to be reviewed will be reviewed on an energetic, emotional level.
A lot of tears.
Tears, laughter, weird sounds that come out, right? And for me, that's natural now to have all those things happen. And so when people are going through even just a slight bit of emotion, they're apologetic, I'm like, you don't have to apologize for that, because this is just a natural process. And we just don't let ourselves have that. There's so much tremendous energy in our systems that we have no clue. I have no clue. I'm just learning as I go through this journey as a network practitioner how much energy is in the system, and getting to experience like when a person shifts, it just changes the whole room.
Yeah, it does. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's something that I think I struggle with sometimes, is being responsible for my own power.
Mm.
I can walk into a room and the energy shifts a lot. Mm-hmm. And in the past, it's really scared me. And it felt like really a lot of energy to be responsible for.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I think it's because I spent so many years. I did my first 10-day silent meditation retreat, Pasana, when I was 20.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's young.
And during that time, I had a full experience of not feeling like frequency. It was crazy. I've actually done 2 since, and I never had that experience again. And one thing about Vipassana is he's no craving or clinging, like just be present with what is, right? But I basically became just a full ball of light and energy, and there was no skin and there was no body. I was just an energetic body. And that was wild to experience that. So I've been very devoted to like transformation and spiritual practices for a very long time now, and network chiropractic has been a huge piece of that puzzle for sure. I definitely would not be who I am today. And I can go into a room. I can walk into a room and people notice me. And everywhere I go, and Marianne Williamson has this amazing poem, and she says, starts with, your deepest fear is not that you're inadequate. Your deepest fear is that you're powerful beyond measure. And I felt that. And I think that one of the things that happens as we start to upgrade is a lot of fear of our own powers come out. And I think I see that a lot happening because so many people are spiritually upgrading right now. It's happening really fast. And people we get afraid of it. And that sucks. But network, I think, can help anchor it in too. It's like a full tool that helps activate the energy and anchor it at the same time.
Yeah. And we're not just doing energy work. It's actually grounding it into different places in the spine where it can actually integrate and enter and flow out. And those are the places that Donnie coined the spinal gateways. And those are the areas that we use to touch. And we use analysis methods to be able to find those in people's spines. You said something about this responsibility, and I think there's something important with that. As there's more and more power generated now, as we're upgrading, I think it's important to understand how to be in the world too, responsibly, ethically, morally. And I think those practices are outlined in 2 of the chapters in the Yoga Sutras. Or you can look at any sacred text on how, not repressive behavior, but behavior to like hone to how to be a good, kind person in this world, honest, trustworthy. And that could be a really difficult thing. And when we generate these powers, and I think it's important to have those practices in place.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think so I don't think there's one thing that makes us sick or one thing that makes us stressed or one thing that makes us unhealthy or one thing that, isn't good for us. I think there's a collection, and I don't think there's one thing that heals us. It's a collection, right? It's a practice. It's a constant using of multiple modalities and tools. And one of the things I'm still frustrated with my ex who got me into network chiropractic is he won't try other modalities. He's so committed just to network chiropractic. And I was like, mushrooms are fun too. They've really helped me heal my heart and help me. I'm not telling anyone to do that. This is for me personally, it's in my healing journey, they were huge to help me regulate my nervous system and my energy and my frequency. And breath work, huge. Breath work is the most incredible tool. Yoga, meditation, nature. When I was on the table today, you asked me what my 7-year-old little girl needed inside of me.
Oh, that's right.
Which was really powerful. And you said, she doesn't have to say anything, but if she did have something for you, did have a message for you, what would it be? And it was that I needed, the 7-year-old version of me spent a lot of time outside in nature, playing in the dirt. And there's a massive primal part of who I am. And I get caught up in the doing of the business or what I need to, who I want to hang out with. And I do go to the beach a lot. I live across the street from the ocean. So that's a way for me to connect with nature. But there's people all around. And still a lot of energy, especially this summertime in Laguna Beach. I think it's being by myself in nature is really the answer. And it was really beautiful to hear that.
That helps a lot. I think there's that inner wisdom that's in all of us. And sometimes visualizing as an innocent, playful, little kid is a fun way to connect to that inner wisdom. And there's nothing like being outdoors, and in the quiet, right? And seeing the stars and seeing the sunrise and waking up with that fresh air and having your feet in the dirt and getting dirty.
I know, getting dirty is so
getting
good.
Dirty,
it's
yeah.
so good. Another thing that I didn't tell you that I'm going to tell you now during our session that I got clarity on is that I'm going to find a picture of myself when I was 7 and put it up on my mirror and have little conversations with her.
Oh, that is so cool.
I know, right? It's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's what she told me to do.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So that we're going to start having some chats.
I think it'll be a fun time.
Yeah, totally, for sure. And it's so interesting because last night I got a little emotionally triggered. The full moon was an intense doozy yesterday. It was a full moon in Aquarius. And the Aquarius is out in the ethers and not very grounded. Very network chiropractic sometimes. And so I was having a little bit of weird energy happening and then an emotional experience that happened, and I was driving home and I got really emotional about it. And I'm like, what is this really about? What am I really actually upset about right now? And the answer was my little girl was sad that my dad never protected me or fully chose me. And so I was sitting with that, and I was just sitting with the pain of that and the sadness of that. And then I was like, okay, what do I need to do to choose myself now? Because I get to do that. That's the answer usually, or I can just stay in the pain of what happened. But yeah, so one of the things I think is the answer I got today is put the photo of my little girl up and choose her.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
Isn't that cool?
Oh my gosh, that's really cool.
These are things network chiropractic does.
Yeah. And you think this whole thing about running away from the pain and not asking it, or even like just to experience it for a second. There's like a cycle that happens with that emotional pain, and it could be very transformational. I had an experience where there's a specific thing that my wife would say, and I didn't know why I would get upset later when I'd come home and we get into a little bit of an argument. I'm like, huh. And I started tracking it, and it was a specific phrase that she would say. I'm like, oh. Once I got aware of it, and then she said it again, that emotional pain from the past came in. It felt like a piercing thing right through my chest, and it hurt so bad. Like, it felt like all the breakups I've had in my life, or like letdowns or heartbreaks, just came into this one single point in my chest. And I was like, whoa. And it just really broke me down for just a minute or so. And I let that emotion take place without any story, and it just completed itself. And there's this moment of immense release.
Freedom.
Openness, freedom. And I got back and I was like, oh, this is beautiful. And I was able to be more present with my family after that. And so I didn't tell her anything for about a year, because I just wanted to keep on practicing hearing those words whenever she would say them. And after about half a year, like, she stopped saying those words. I was like, oh, okay, I guess it's done. And then I told her a year later, and she goes, why didn't you tell me? And I was like, because I wanted to see if I can actually continually work through this as we're going through whatever communications we're having that makes you say that one phrase. And so I was able to train, but I feel like network helped me to get closer to my emotions and to be able to feel my heart even more on a personal level. So that's what it's done for me. It's really helped me tune in and open up.
That's so important, especially for men, for sure. They're not as practiced as women are, or not socially as encouraged as women are to be connected to their hearts. But I think that's what women are craving and deeply yearning for. And what the world needs right now is all of us to be in our hearts, not in our heads and our egos.
Absolutely. We have to balance both sides of our heart. There's, I think in Peru, they believe like there's two parts of our heart. There's one that's really compassionate, and then there's one that's fierce at the same time, or protecting. And so embodying those two different parts of the heart are so important. And there are like a whole slew of like men's groups that are starting to emerge that are like helping the masculine male be more mature and healthier in these relationships.
It's so good.
And it's so great to see that out there.
Uh-oh.
I hope nothing will fry.
We're actually about to close up anyways. So I know you're doing an online journey with SRI, right?
Yes.
So tell me more about that.
Right now, I'm doing an online journey with practitioners who are energy workers and who are coaches and healers, and working to understand and feel and experience the different energetic states that we embody and inhabit. And it's a 5-month-long program, and we cover the different stages, and we actually look at like how to observe the spine in all its different ways and waves, the breath wave, the somatopsychic wave, all of that. And I do a series of that also, guided for people who aren't practitioners as well, that I'm going to be starting next year again and restarting that for non-practitioners. And
I'm excited about that because I've never had an SRI practice on my own.
Oh, cool.
So I would love to help in any way with that, because I think it would be so good to have something that I could just press a video and be at home and figure out.
Yeah. And
amazing.
I'm working on some audio for that too, so you don't have to look at a video.
Perfect.
You can just hear what's happening and be guided through that process as well.
Amazing.
So
Is that available right now?
it's almost available. Or like a couple days away, I'm just doing a video only version with an added audio for people. It's called Repowering Presence, a video
What's the
program.
website?
I'll send the link.
Okay.
I don't actually have the actual, I can't say it because I don't know it right by heart, but is it okay to put it on the show
Yeah,
notes?
we'll put it in the show notes.
Okay.
And then also if they want to reach out to you and have a session or find you on social media, how can they do that?
You can go to drkoichi.com. That's drkoichi.com. And you can book a free half-an-hour consult with me. And I'd love to speak with you and hear what you got out of the show. And then if there's anything you want to talk about, we could do that too.
And where are you located?
I'm located in Encinitas, and I practice there part of the week, and then the other part of the week I do online coaching and consultations. So,
Amazing.
yeah.
Awesome. I would love, Encinitas isn't that far from Laguna Beach. It's like 45 minutes without traffic.
Yeah, it's pretty
good.
close. Yeah.
So that's incredible. It's been such a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you so much for being here. I am so heartbroken. Maybe I'll figure out how to get that content from prior that we didn't get half the show recorded. But it was such a pleasure to have a network session from you. I feel so much better in my body, and I'm so excited for this week. Thank you all for who's listening. Without you, we would just be talking to ourselves. So thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for inspiring and learning and growing and having conversations about the taboo. This is Follow Your Heartsong with Rose Heartsong on KXFM, Laguna's Community Radio. And we are here every single week at 9 to 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on KXFM. Have a beautiful night, you guys. You felt that, didn't you? Let it sink in, take what you need, leave the rest, and always trust yourself. If this spoke to you, please follow, like, and share. That helps the message reach those who need it. Stay wild, stay free, and keep following your